Hi, welcome to the event. And today I will be showing my own tool Nightingale, which is Docker for Pentester. So enjoy the show. So moving ahead, let me tell you about myself. I'm Raja Naguri and I'm working as a IS analyst second at FIS Global. And I'm also a cybercrime intervention officer from ISAC, which is a part of NSD. And I'm also a Senec Red Team member and I'm also contributing to the OAPS community. I create videos on YouTube just to a practical demonstration of how we can go with the practical approach of VAPT in each and every scope of the web or the internet, which we used to do in our daily life. Right? I used to write blogs. I also used to play guitar mostly on the indie music because they have some taste like independent music, and which I also believe. And if we talk about my talks, I deliver talk on Black Hat Arsenal Asia 2022 this year. I also give talk on OAuth Global AppSec EU, which is a part of the Europe area. And I also deliver talk on OAuth chapter and the security team. Let's have a discussion about the tool, which is called Nightingale. So it's a Docker image for the pentester. Now, why I created this thing will show in the later part of the video. Also, it contains all the required tools that you will be required or the pentester will be required at the time of penetration testing to any of the scope or the he or she will be interacting with. If we talk about the features of the tool, this Nightingale tool or the Docker for Pentester tool is completely platform independent. That means it will run in the Mac operating system, it will run in the Ubuntu or the Linux operating system, and it will run in the Windows operating system. Also, Nightingale has multiple programming languages support, so you don't need to worry about installing any of the latest programming language or the new programming language that it will not contain. Likewise, the booting process in the virtual machine, Docker containers, or we can say the Nightingale has a very fast booting process as compared to the virtual machine. As I have already mentioned, Nightingale contains all the required tools that will be required at the time of penetration testing. So you don't need to worry about the configuration and installation or the setup a particular environment for all the tools that you will be required at the time of penetration testing. Also, likewise in the virtual machine, it is completely different in the Nightingale. It is very easy to set up in your local machine or the machine where you want to use Nightingale or this Docker image in your local machine. So before jumping into the actual tool, let's jump into the basic of the Docker, like why I choose Docker technology over the other technology. So it is very basic concept like the virtual machine and the container. Now, if we talk about the virtual machines, virtual machine is working on the hypervisor concept where there are multiple separate guest OS, and those guest OS have their own libraries and binaries folders, and above that the application will be running. So the as many the number of the guest operating system, your resources will be uses in from your host machine. But if we talk about the containers run on a single operating system, and it contains a single container engine which will run multiple binaries in multiple libraries, and above that the application will be run. Now the only difference is the use of the resources. Now here in the virtual machine, every guest OS will be used a separate amount of resources from the host machine, like, and in the container it will only use that amount of resources it will require at the time of running the application. Moving forward, I strongly believe in hands-on practice. So let's jump into the code, let's jump into the practical approach, and let's see how we can go with the setup and how we can go with the understanding of the code of this Nightingale. So let's jump into the code and let's see how this particular Nightingale will work. So if we talk about the main file of the Docker file, or we can say the Nightingale, it contains some the base image, which is again the base image of this tool itself, and also it has mentioned all the utility that will be used at the time of some operations that will be needed at the time of penetration testing of each and every scope of the target. Now, if we moving forward, I have created all the directories which can contains all the tools as per the category. Like, so here the category means if we talk about the web application penetration testing tools, if we talk about the mobile application penetration testing tool, if we talk about the API, if we talk about the OSINT, if we talk about forensic, any kind of category will be available in this tool. Moving forward, I have mentioned the environment variable, which will be used in the whole project whenever we call this particular environment in the project. Apart from that, I have copied all the configuration from the images which I have created separately as per the category which I have defined or I have created the folders for. Moving forward, I have mentioned all the binaries that will required at the time of doing some brute forcing or finding some hidden domains or finding some hidden directories for the same. And at the last, I have installed the Metasploit tool, which will use as a exploitable framework, as we have all know about this tool, and it is very famous for providing all the exploits for the services that we are using till today. If we moving forward to the Docker files folder, and it will contain all the files or the separate or the other category wise Docker file which contain only those tools which is related to that particular scope. If we talk about, let's say, mobile application, if we talk about OSINT, if we talk about programming languages, so everything will be under the Docker files folder. So in order to run this tool, what you have to do is just go to the readme section of the tool and hit the command. So if you can see here, the command is docker run and followed by binding of the port, which is 7618 and 8080, which is again the TTYD port, which will bind to that 8080. So without wasting any time, let's run this particular command and see what happens if we run that and the container will start working. Okay, so moving forward, I have up the container. So what we have to do is now we have to hit the loopback address and the 8080, and your Nightingale tool will be running over the browser. Now, if we talk about, let's say, running some of the command which is completely based on the Linux flavor. So let's say if we run the cp command, so it will again give you the hint like you need to mention some of the operand that will be performed after the cp command. So if we talk about the nmap, then nmap is also working here. That's all. Thank you so much for being a great audience for this event and great audience for this tool. And if you have anything to discuss regarding this tool or anything wanted to discuss regarding the Docker, you can ask me on my social profile on Twitter and LinkedIn. So see you there. Bye bye.